I'm Jacob and I want to talk about some side quests. What kind of adventures do you remember from your time in video games? Is it having a drinking contest with the Daedric god of debauchery and waking up in a destroyed temple in Skyrim? Or is it the boring ass tailing missions from Assassin's Creed? I'm gonna assume the former. My guess is that you're like me and when you experience side quests, you kinda want them to be engaging and not the video game equivalent of watching paint dry on a dead cat in a storm drain. So I'm going to talk about side quests in video games, specifically Witcher 3, but as a bit of an introduction, Witcher 3 is a hella good game. There's a reason it's spammed all over Reddit gaming to the point of basically being a meme. And one of the things that makes Witcher 3 such a success, at least in my beady little eyes, is the way that the game handles side quests. First of all, before I discuss side quests in Witcher 3 specifically, I'm going to do a bit of schooling. I'm going to tell you exactly what a side quest is and why it's important that they're at the very least entertaining. A side quest is a traditional quest that exists outside of the main quest, or the main story. Sort of like the side hoe of the main quest. It's just there to give you a bit of a fun time that the main quest can't really provide, maybe give you a bit more experience, and to tell you some kind of additional story. You know what, the side hoe analogy is a bit weird and doesn't really work. Anyway, side quests are usually found in open world RPGs, or just open world games. Doesn't even have to be an RPG. Although, like side hoes, they aren't exclusive to those genres. I think I'm a bit too white to unironically say side hoes so many times. Back to side quests, they usually exist to tell more stories in a setting and entertain you for longer, and prompt you to explore locations that you haven't gone to because no quest marker has pointed your dumbass in that direction. So that's what a side quest is and what it does. Now let's look at examples of how not to do side quests. For this, I'm going to have to get the help of my disappointing friend Fallout 4. The radiant quests that Preston Gravy constantly throws at you in Fallout 4 is the opposite of fun. They're repetitive generated quests that function as side quests, but without all the juices, personality, and narrative that makes a good side quest tastier than Grandma's cupboard. That's not a euphemism. I'll give Fallout 4 this. It does have some good side quests, like the Silver Shroud quest, but the Radiant quests that are constantly present in the game are exactly how not to do a side quest. They're just boring and garbage. Fallout 4's Radiant quest boiled down to go here, get this thing, come back. That's just not a good formula or recipe for a side quest, especially when they're automatically generated. A lot of open world games have these low effort quests, and they're the opposite of fun. If I could slap them, I would. Alright, that's enough feeling bad. Now it's time to feel good with some Witcher 3. It shows us exactly how to do a good side quests. Almost all quests in Witcher 3, including side quests, tell some little narrative and give the player some form of choice. Not all of them, but most of them do. And not just the good or bad, quick press the paragon option as soon as you see it in Mass Effect, but an actual morally ambiguous choice that's not exactly easy to make. Makes you think. Nothing's better than examples, so I'm gonna give you one for a good, or at least a decent, Witcher 3 side quest. The example I'm gonna give is the quest The Nithing, which starts with you meeting a sad dad in Skellige whose son is dying from a curse. You, Geralt, a Witcher, the Witcher, knows how to break the curse, but you need to convince the curse's caster to remove it, so in classic Witcher 3 style, you track down the curse's caster in the village. It's a woman named Yona who casts the curse on the sad dad because they used to be lovers once, but he broke up with her for his current wife. Yona tells you that she will remove the curse if the sad dad leaves his current wife and son for her. You tell the sad dad the sad news, but you also tell him that there's an alternative. You can reflect the curse back onto Yona, and she'll eventually die, so you get to choose whether the sad dad leaves his family because of this curse, or if Yona dies a painful death. Also, I'd like to point out that this is just one quest among shitloads of quests in Witcher 3, and compared to most of the Witcher's quests, this is quite a short and basic one, but it's a good example of just how quality the side quests are. The Witcher 3 always feels like it's telling a story through its side quests, whether that be an adventure across an abandoned island to kill an Uggo frost giant, or to investigate a bleeding cursed tree lady. If these words I'm saying don't convince you of the game's side quests and how quality they are, just compare what I've explained about how fun and interesting they are to something like Dead Island that just has depressing and boring ass fetch quests without a ounce of good gameplay or storytelling. It's just pretty obvious which one you'd want to play. The consistent quality of the quests in Witcher 3 is also a testament to how hard CD Projekt Red worked on the game. Just goes to show that when you put effort into side quests and treat them like the princesses they really are, they can be great value for the game and for the player. Oblivion is another example of a game that has similarly sexy side quests. The one where you find a painter in his own enchanted painting sticks with me because it's such an interesting and fun time to splash around in the painted world, fighting the painted boys that live there. So Oblivion is another example, but unlike The Witcher, Oblivion doesn't have a structure to its side quests, so it's not nearly as consistently good. The reason Witcher 3 does side quests right, or at least better than most games I think, is because they have an effective formula, for which pretty much all of their quests adhere to. This formula is mixed up slightly between the quests, but it usually follows this structure. 1. You find a quest giver with a problem which usually, not always, but usually requires a professional touch. Hence, you, a Witcher, a professional, should do it rather than Jimmy from down the street. 2. You investigate the problem and find out that it's more complicated than you or the quest giver thought.
Wagon? And here's where that boulder almost crushed me.
3. The quest can be solved 2 or more ways and the outcomes are usually morally ambiguous. I'm not saying every quest in The Witcher 3 follows this bodacious formula. Most of them do stick to this formula though. The game definitely has stinkers, just quests that ain't as good as the others, but a lot of the quests do follow the structure, which makes for a good time. I feel like the only thing I can accurately liken The Witcher 3's side quest structure to is to a real tasty ass recipe for cookies that your mother has and she guards it like a secret. And every time you have these cookies from this recipe, they're just tasty every single time. So much so that you're starting to wonder if your mum is lacing these cookies with nicotine and Panadol, secretly getting you addicted to softcore drugs. The takeaway for this video is that in a world of Destiny 2s and Mass Effect and Andromedas, side quests are often dirty little boys that you probably don't want to touch or even do. But there is still hope in games like Witcher 3. Witcher 3 is just an example of exactly how to do optional quests and how to make them fun, entertaining, and most importantly memorable because of their choices and their narratives. Also, I'm not trying to put good side quests or The Witcher 3 on a pedestal, because you certainly have good games without good side quests or any side quests at all, but I just really dig what The Witcher 3 does to side quests and how the side quests play with me, and I hope more games can play with me in a similar way. If you stuck through the video, then thanks for watching. I don't expect anyone to watch this, but I really wanted to make this because I'm on break at uni and this feels cathartic and it feels like I'm actually doing something. So, okay. Bye bye.